Hi, welcome to the Rich Andi Podcast. I'm Rich Andi, and you don't know what I'm talking about, and neither do I. I don't have television or cable here at the house. I haven't had it in many years. I don't even have things like Netflix or Hulu or any of that kind of stuff. So when I'm at home, I enjoy listening to music a lot, or if I get really bored, I want to pass some time, I'll put on the local police, fire, and EMS scanner. This video is kind of about that. It's some of the strange 911 calls and the funny things I've heard on the scanner. Now, all departments and street names and things like that are going to be changed to protect the innocent, the odd, the strange, the dumb, and the departments. Now, I will acknowledge that some people call 911 and report things differently, especially when they're in distress or being abused. Things like calling the dispatcher and ordering a pepperoni pizza, and then the dispatcher's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And like, no, I don't want sausage and onions on it. And that gets a dialogue going with the dispatcher without maybe somebody finding out. I can assure you that's not the case with these calls. I know some of the officers that responded to some of these calls. I actually wish I could share some of their reactions, because when they tell the story from their side of it's more funny. But they are professional in their response to these calls, and they are real 911 calls until proven otherwise. One additional thing, the 911 is the emergency services number here in America. If you're watching from somewhere else, there's probably a different number you need to call. I don't know that, but here in 911 is our number. Also, make sure you teach your children when to use 911, how to use 911. But we're going to get into it and just kind of go on some of the calls here. So this one happened, I'm going to say less than a half a mile from my house. It was even less than that. Female caller to 911. And I can't make this up because I'm just not this funny. Her neighbor, 2 houses to the east of her, installed a bird feeder. And that would be an interesting call, maybe. But let's take a listen to the 911 call.
County Control, the 421, received a 911 call at 1804 South Vincent Street. Caller reporting that her neighbor at 1808 South Vincent Street put up a bird feeder. She is stating she has observed at least 2 different birds, one she believes is a robin, taking seeds from the feeder, flying to her yard, and then leaving the shells. She would like you to do something about the birds and also make sure the neighbor takes down the feeder and comes to clean up her yard. She states there are at least 5 sunflower seeds in the yard, as well as a few spots of bird waste.
Now, again, as I said earlier, this one might be funny on its own. It might be even a bit odd. I've also seen this person out there trimming the grass in her yard with scissors, like Fiskars, like not like weed trimmer scissors, but like, kitchen drawer scissors or sewing scissors. And I understand she likes to keep an immaculate lawn. I would just say that bird had one shell of a good time. I can only assume the officer took the report, arrested the bird, and possibly even arranged for a police lineup, if you will. So incident number 2, is it the Hamburglar? I don't really know. I do know that McMahon erupted around a customer's 911 call over a catastrophic McDonald's order. It was a mix-up. The caller claims society is crumbling and insists that order must be restored in the drive-thru as a matter of public safety. So just a dozen miles or so north of me, police were called to a somewhat rural McDonald's. Not by the store for a fight or for a theft, but for a customer complaint. Let's listen in.
Counter to 6222 received a 911 call from McDonald's on 613 in Bree Space Borough. Mail caller will be waiting for you at the drive-thru window. He claims he ordered 2 double quarter-pound meals and received 2 Big Mac meals. He states the store is refusing to remake his food and refusing to give him a refund. He also states he will not move from the window until the police units arrive.
A short amount of time went by, and then dispatch, they got some additional information for the police officers en route.
County to 6222, 911 operator now on the line with the McDonald's manager from Route 613, stating they have the customer that will not move from the drive-thru window while they remake his food. Both callers are on the line. We can hear the original caller yelling at the McDonald's manager.
It's a story as old as time. I ordered a quarter pounder and they gave me a Big Mac. I'll tell you what, at this point, it's probably safe to assume that the ice cream machine isn't the only thing that's broken here.
Don't ever go up to the drive-thru, okay? Always walk up to the counter. You know why? Okay. They you at the drive-thru, okay? They drive-thru.
So, incident number 3. Well, what about my Facebook updates? Now, authorities can confirm no lives were in danger except for the man's streak of daily meme posting. Storm damage was minimal. Emotional damage was catastrophic. A man called 911 just on the other side of town from me to report that Facebook was down. He dialed 911 to report Facebook was down. I can't believe that's a sentence I said in 2025. Now, it was down on his home internet and his phone. Now, this happened during a thunderstorm. Police, fire, EMS, they were stretched pretty thin with alarm calls and downed trees and telephone lines and stuck vehicles and more. However, that did not stop our next bonehead from calling 911. Let's take a listen to the dispatcher.
Dispatch to units 2 and 13 for the south side. I know you are tied up right now. We are receiving a 911 call from a frantic male stating he cannot get on Facebook at this time. He is reporting the street lights and traffic lights are out in his neighborhood. However, he also tried on his cell phone and Facebook was not able to connect. The caller is very concerned because he wants to check the local community Facebook page to see what all the sirens are about in the neighborhood.
Now, both officers did acknowledge the call. However, they both stated they were on a traffic incident and they had some down power lines. They were doing traffic control, but they would respond ASAP. Our problem was that the caller called again, and the caller's daughter called. And an officer came from across town to take care of the situation.
County to 10 and 13, we now have a transfer from Warner County. The previous caller's daughter is on the line stating that her father cannot get on Facebook and called her in a panic. He really needs to update the community page. Also, the caller is back on the 911 line.
Now would be a great time to like and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment if you're enjoying the video, or if you have additional questions about any of these incidents. So, incident number 4, I would call this one a curbside cliffhanger. This local man offered up some free furniture, 3 pieces of furniture to be exact. Now, it's pretty common around here. I've done this when I replace my washer and dryer and hot water heater. You put on these community Facebook groups, hey, I've got some scrap metal out by the front yard. First come, first serve. I'll take this post down or change this post when the scrap metal's picked up. Or, hey, I've got clothing that doesn't fit me anymore. It'll be on the porch. Or in this case, I have 2 chairs and a love seat and I don't want them anymore. They're in good condition. No holes, no scratches, no pets in the house. So yeah, we've got some furniture on the curb on a beautiful day. A couple towns over, local police were dispatched for some missing furniture. But it's not what you think. Let's take a listen.
Dispatch to 9816. We're getting a frantic 911 call from 788 Main Street in Heckertown. Caller states he put 2 old chairs and a love seat on the curb with a free sign. A passerby saw them and loaded up the chairs. The caller stated he went out to thank the man and offer assistance in loading it up. He states the passerby did not need assistance and left with only the 2 chairs. The caller has the license plate of the passerby and insists we contact him to also pick up the love seat.
We got the license plate. We can solve this crime. Why didn't he love the seat? That's the questions we're all asking, I think. A local cat historically subdues a pen cap and told the police to stand down. So really, I don't know, 2 911 calls, 1 bug, and 1 twist. Police officers were dispatched to an animal complaint. It wasn't your ordinary animal complaint. Let's have a listen to the call.
Dispatch to 927. Getting a 911 call in the South Zone. The sector car is tied up. Caller reporting she recently moved to the area from Oregon State and she lives at 3199 Rope Dam Road, and her cat is playing with a large bug in the kitchen. Caller is concerned since she has only lived in the area a few days and does not know if the bugs in our area are poisonous. Caller can be heard repeatedly yelling at Pickles to stop and leave it alone, but the cat is not listening. Caller states that the garage door on the south side of the house is open. The door from there leads straight into the kitchen.
So the police supervisor acknowledges the call, stating he's responding from the local main grocery store in the area. It's 12, 15 blocks away, let's say. About 90 seconds later, though, we receive a dispatch follow-up.
County to 0927. I have a caller back on the line. She is stating that Pickles has gotten the bug, and it turns out it's only a blue pen cap. She is asking the police to cancel.
So the supervisor acknowledges the call, the backup unit cancels, and we can only assume that this cat was cited for having just a little too much catnip. So before I get to my last clip, I have a few honorable mentions. This first one I've heard sadly more than once. In fact, I believe I've heard it 4 times, and I've heard of it happening multitudes of time. People getting accidentally locked together in handcuffs for some adult fun activities, only to realize they can't open the handcuffs when they're done. And oftentimes the police key is a different size key than the fun time handcuffs. So now you have to deal with that, and maybe even the fire department being called to rescue from a situation. So it's happened again. I've heard it 3 or 4 times, and I've heard of it happening outside of my area a bunch more. One that was not so funny necessarily, but it was odd. This is going back many, many years ago. We used to have a lot of black bear sightings in our area, and it was late at night, and the police were dispatched to the downtown pizza shop for a report of a bear sleeping on the hood of a car. Apparently, it was the delivery driver's car, and the hood was warm, and the bear just wanted a place to, lay down in warmth. I know the Game Commission was called on this one, and I don't know if it answers any of our questions about, does a bear... I don't know. Number 6. It's my final incident for the day. Oh, neighborhood mysteries and neighborhood mayhem. Tonight I bring you a tale of confusion, chlorine, and one man's battle with gravity and alcohol. It begins in a quiet suburban deck just before dawn. Let's take a listen.
County to 1-453. Call from 288 Marshall Court, Unit 3. Caller states he just woke up on his back deck and believes his entire swimming pool has been stolen. Caller sounds confused at this time, but is insistent that the whole thing is gone, water and all. No sign of tire tracks. Caller is unable to explain how he fell asleep outside at this time. Caller does sound intoxicated and is somewhat uncooperative.
Now it didn't end there. Moments later, we get another update from dispatch.
County to 1-453 with additional information. A homeowner at 288 Marshall Court Unit 8 reports a drunk man is on his deck yelling that somebody stole his swimming pool. Homeowner states they do not have a pool. Subject is described as very upset, very loud, and very confused.
Now, upon PD's arrival, EMS was requested for an extremely intoxicated male that lives across the street and 2 doors down. If you notice, the dispatch was, the homeowner was at Unit 8, and the caller thought he was at Unit 3, so across the street and down the road. Apparently, when you're that drunk, an 8 looks like a 3. I would have to ask some of my associates and friends. I'm not sure about that. The dispatcher did ask tongue-in-cheek if a swimming pool was located. PD acknowledged that there was a kiddie pool located under the deck, but they did not advise to use it being this early in April. So I hope you like these real calls that I've personally heard on the scanner over the years. I have some others documented elsewhere, so drop a comment if you'd like to hear more of them. I'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe to the channel. Also drop a comment if you've got a funny police 911 dispatch, or if you were a dispatcher or one of the police officers or EMS or fire that answered a funny call in your opinion, especially the one about the handcuffs. I know there's a lot of people out there in the industry, so I have a feeling it's happened more than just where I'm at. So until then, I'm Rich Andi, and you don't know what I'm talking about, and neither do I.